Has your family ever been sick and you go to the grocery store, you find some really awesome elderberry tincture, and you look at it and you're like, it's $13 for 1 ounce? You go to the back and you realize that you're supposed to take 1 dropper full or a teaspoon every hour or every other hour for 7 days. And you realize that this little tincture, you're gonna end up paying $45 in tinctures by the time you ever even get well. Well, my name is Amanda from the Wild Herbal, and today I'm gonna help you avoid the sticker shock of elderberry tincture and teach you how to make it for yourself. So, you are going to need something to put your tincture in. You're going to need a scale, herbs, glycerin, water, and preferably 190 proof vodka. You can do lesser, but it's easier to have the really high proof, or 200 proof if you can find that. Doesn't necessarily matter the brands. I like Everclear, but I also have this brand as well. We are going to make a 1:5 ratio tincture. So that is 1 ounce of our herbs to 5 ratios of menstruum. Menstruum is the liquid that you put into your tincture. So the first thing that we're going to do is figure out the math for this tincture. I need to make 120 ounces, so I have a 1 gallon pickle jar because I have a big family and we go through a lot of elderberry tincture. Then the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start some things on the stove. For this tincture, we need 72 ounces of glycerin. So I'm going to take my measuring here, and we are not weighing our glycerin. I'm just putting my ounces in. And we're gonna put our glycerin and our water on the stove. And we're gonna turn our stove on low. I need 24 ounces of water, and you want to use purified water. You do not want to use tap water because some tap water has chlorine, and that can kill some of the things in your tinctures. You always want to use a purified water or a distilled water. We're going to go ahead and leave that there. We're going to set it, our stove is on low, and I'm going to add a couple of my herbs in here as well. Today, since we're making an elderberry tincture, we're going to start with our elderberry, and I need 24 ounces of herb. So for this, I'm going to be using 10 ounces of elderberry for my 1 gallon. So I have it on ounces here, and we're going to go ahead and press tare on our scale after you put your jar on, and then we'll measure 10 ounces. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just get it kind of close. I'm going to press tare again, and I'm going to add my Astragulus root. Astragulus root is really good for immune properties. It tricks your immune system into gear, and so it helps you to fight off whatever virus that you're fighting at that time, and it helps your white blood cells as well to increase so you can fight your virus more effectively. So I'm going to be adding 4 ounces of this. Astragulus is a Chinese herb. You can also use echinacea. The only thing with echinacea is that if you choose to do that, is that after 7 days of using echinacea, you need to take a break and stop for at least a day, because your body gets used to the echinacea, what it's doing, and so it'll stop working after a little bit. Then I'm going to use Slippery Elm, and we're going to use 2 ounces of Slippery Elm. This is so I'm going to press tare again, and I'm going to add my Slippery Elm. So this is mucilage, and if you are sick with a virus and you have a lot of mucus and drainage, it really helps getting everything to drain, and it's also really soothing for the throat and for the stomach. Also has lots of vitamins, so it is something that I like to add. For my kids, always get lots of mucus just to help things to drain really well. So then the next thing I have is wild cherry bark. This is going to help if you have any type of a cough with your virus. It helps to any type of respiratory issue while cherry bark is really good. And I'm going to add 4 ounces of this. Press toddy again, and then add 4 ounces of that. And that uses up about all of my red cherry bark. The last root that we're gonna add is marshmallow root. Again, this is another one that is another mucilage, and it just helps things to flow really well. So we're gonna press toddy again, and for marshmallow root, I'm adding 4 ounces. So far we've added 10 ounces of elderberry, 4 ounces of astragulus, 4 ounces of red cherry bark. We're adding 4 ounces of marshmallow, and we have 2 ounces of slippery elm. Now all of these work synergistically together to help your body to fight pretty much any aspects of the virus, of any type of cold and flu virus that you have. You have some that helps with the drainage, you have others that help your immune system go into gear. Elderberry has a lot of antibacterial and a lot of just antiviral properties, so that you can change up the recipe. I just found that this combination of herbs works really well for my family. If your family has maybe dry coughs or things like that, maybe you could add elecampane or some different herbs like that that might help more with a dry cough. We don't typically deal with dry cough, so I have a separate entire tincture that deals with the dry cough when we actually deal with that, but it's very rare. So I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to add it into my glycerin and my water. And the reason I do this, elderberry, whenever you pick fresh elderberry or even dried, it has chemicals in it that can make people with sensitive stomachs get really nauseous or cause them to vomit. So it is always best to cook elderberry just a little bit. And then astragulus, and we use a lot of barks. So the slippery elm is also a bark. So slippery elm, astragulus, red cherry barks, those are all things that can be heated up a little bit, and it actually helps to break it down a little bit so that your menstruum, which is your liquid that you're putting in your herb, can take all of the vitamins and nutrients from it. So we're just gonna let this simmer for a couple, probably about 5 minutes or so here. And then after it simmers, we're gonna put it aside and we're gonna let it cool down. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and take this and we're going to measure out 24 ounces of alcohol. We're gonna put it in our jar. And we definitely wanna make sure that before we add this glycerin water tincture with our herbs to our jar, it needs to be entirely cooled to room temperature, because we don't want to put something hot and mix it with the alcohol, because it'll make the alcohol evaporate, and that's not what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here so that as soon as this is cool, simmers and cools down, it'll be all ready to go. And now I'll show you what we're going to do next. So now whenever your elderberry and herb glycerin and water is cool to the touch, room temperature, you can go ahead and put a canning funnel on top of your jar with your alcohol. And this could be a little bit messy, but you're just going to pour this into there. If you have a soup ladle, might be a little bit easier. And then when you're all done with that, you're gonna put a cap on it. You can stir it around, mix it up, and then we're going to put a label on it. You're going to put the name of the tincture along with the date. And in 4 to 6 weeks, you can come back and strain it. So this is not an amber glass jar. So you're going to want to put it in a cabinet, somewhere that is away from the light and that is cool. And after that, you can come back and you can strain it, and you're gonna want to store it in a dark amber glass bottle. If you need help with learning how to strain a tincture, you can check out this ID card up here, or a link in the description. I'll link a video that tells you how to strain a tincture and also how to properly store it. Okay, so that is that. So now you have an awesome elderberry tincture that'll be ready in 4 to 6 weeks. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.